Today I'm going to matchmake every single fight on UFC 324. So this is going to be the big opener Paramount card, and they said that this card is going to be stacked. So I'm not going to overly stack it. Like of course, like the main card, I like stack it with a lot of ranked fighters, but like the prelims, I'm not going to go like full UFC 300 and every single spot is a ranked fighter. I'm going to add like some random like contender series fighters and also like maybe like one or two WMMA fights. So yeah, like, okay, the big question is like who's going to be the main event? Well, that question will be answered later in this video. First off, we have Michael Chiesa versus Jacoby Smith. I know this fight looks like a lamb to a slaughter fight, but like the thing is like Chiesa didn't look okay. He did look bad in this last fight, but his two fights before that he actually looked good. Yeah, I know that fight is against like two much guys like against some Watch Ferguson and stuff, but like it's still impressive that like the way he beat those guys. And like Jacoby Smith, like in his last fight, like yeah, he finished him, but like he essentially got fraud check basically. Yeah, like he's both nickel 2.0. So yeah, but I still think Jacoby Smith still has like a lot of potential. Okay, like this fight represents like from changing from the ESPN deal to the Paramount deal, because like cases are all head of course, and I feel like Jacoby Smith could be like a new star, or maybe he get project something, I don't know. Like yeah, I think this fight is a good fight to represent old guard to the new guard, like ESPN to Paramount. So yeah. Next up, let me tell you about this kid Jose Delano. Jose Delano versus Ramon Tavares. This is going to be an absolute banger. Like Jose Delano in this last fight, he went to absolute wall, but it's not like oh a random bar fight where they just swing. No, it's like a technical wall. Like they were bloodied and beat up, but they didn't like just swing strikes. It was like a fun boxing match. And Tavares, like even though he lost his last two, he's like still a very fun fighter. And he didn't lose because oh he gave up. He lost because like all the other fighters like have better boxing and outweigh quicker. He lost like that instead of being like all straight up bad. So yeah, this gonna be a banger. So yeah. Next up, we have John Chanko Pok versus Cody Steele. So no introduction for John Pok. We all know him. So yeah, Cody Steele, like he trains with Marab and Roundtree and all those guys, and like he showed that, like he didn't really show it in his last fight, because like they mostly strike and have the like absolute brawl. But like I think he has like really good takedown defense, or maybe he's like oh just because you train with Marab doesn't mean you have good takedown defense. Maybe John Pok can just like just wrestle him and dominate him on the ground. But like John Pok, like in his contender series fight, he just mostly strike. Like he did some wrestling, but he mostly strike the whole time. So yeah, like I think this could, like if John Pok like stays on the field, I think this could be like a really fun striking match, or maybe John Pok should probably just like dominate on the ground or something. So yeah. Next up, we have Jim Miller versus Jai Herbert. Old head versus watch guy. Like Jim Miller in his last fight, he got mostly dominated in the wrestling and BJJ by Chase Hooper. So yeah, but he like in his fight before that, he win by first round gilly against Damon Jackson, and Jai Herbert, like he is basically Leon Edwards without the speed and athleticism, also without any wrestling at the same time. So yeah, I think Miller will win this fight. The reason why I put this fight on this card, because I want another like old head who represents the old generation on this card. Because like oh this is the new deal, and I want some guy to represent from the old era. And yeah, this is a winnable fight for Jim also, for Jim Miller. So yeah, don't be jump scared by the women, especially the black one right there. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, I know like oh it's a WMA fight, ew, but like Tainara, she's like a very fun like grappler. Like in the last fight against in Perth against LeBron Me, like she showed that like she absolutely dominated her in like the wrestling. And Rebus, like she's mostly a striker, and she got like finished like by eye injury in her last fight, and she also got finished on the ground by Mackenzie Dern. So yeah, I think it's gonna be like a fun fight. Maybe like Sayonara maybe dominates her on the ground or something, but at the same time, like Ribas like got submitted by Dern, which like she's like the best jiu-jitsu, but like I think this is going to be a fun fight. Okay, next up, this fight was already announced. Krylov versus Bukowskis. Yeah, like my prediction is I think Bukowskis clearly like gets the win. Like Bukowskis only wins against like bums, but at the same time Krylov, like his last loss was against Guskov, and Guskov only wins are also against bums. So yeah, I think Bukowskis will wins this easily by knockout. Maybe like first round, late in the first or early in the second. So yeah. Next up, we have Mick Parkin versus the Shera. So both these guys, like every single fan thought, oh, this is going to be the new generation of heavyweights, and they proceed to like lost in the next fight. So yeah, Mick Parkin, like he's mostly like a wrestler who like just point fights, and if he's fighting Wash, he can like knock him out and tell him and take Shera. Like he's still relatively unknown. Like, oh yeah, he's a big power puncher. He went against Starfire and gets knocked out by Derrick Lewis. But I think it's gonna be like, oh, a fun fight against two guys who like got fraud check basically. So yeah, if your screen is getting hotter, it's because this fight is absolute fire. Ribovich is my favorite unranked lightweight, maybe even favorite lightweight. Like he just comes forward and just swing punches. Like he like, oh yeah, forget defense, it's going to swing. Like even though he seems to like devolve since the jail moving, like he stopped really throwing head kicks, he stopped throwing body shots, but like he's so fun to watch though. Like I don't even care. Like his last three fights are like fight of the night, not even fight of the night, fight of the night. It's fight of the year contenders. So yeah, we have Mason Jones. Of course, like he has a lot of comeback energy in his like Jeremy Stevens fight. Like the fight was really entertaining and Stevens was really winning, and then Jones decided to use his wrestling a lot to like get the decision win. Like even though like it was like mostly boring at the end, like he still like has like a lot of heart. Of course, the Balaji Oki fight, like he got dropped early, like dropped bad, and then he like dropped Oki like early in the like late in the first, and then he proceeded to finish him like early in the second. So yeah, this fight is an absolute banger. Also, wait, another British fighter. Yeah, I wonder who's going to be the main event. Now we have the main card opener, Yoel Alvarez versus Jeff Neal. In this last fight, he went against Luke and turned Luke into Anthony Smith, and Jeff Neal like he loses quite a lot, but at the same time he loses because he fights top tier talent like Gary, motherfucking Prates, also like Shafkat. So yeah, like he every single win except for like the Ian Gary, no, in every single loss except the Ian Gary loss, he looks good. Like in the Prates fight in the beginning, he like pressured early, but then he got knocked out. In the Shafkat loss, he like caught Shafkat multiple times. So yeah, like yeah, Jeff Neal is mostly a boxer, and Yoel Alvarez is like a cycle, like a Muay Thai kickboxing guy. So yeah, like I think Alvarez gets this. Like his best matchup is against like a smaller boxing dude. But yeah, I think this fight is going to be like really fun. Speaking of welterweights, we have Kamaru Usman versus Shafkat. Yeah, Shafkat, he hasn't fought in like 500 years. In Kamaru Usman, he keeps demanding a title shot, even though his last win is against freaking Tyler the Creator. So yeah, like Shafkat, he hasn't really fought against a top tier wrestler yet. Like his best like wrestler win is against like Neil freaking Magny, which like, oh wow, so impressive, right? I mean, maybe Gary, but Gary didn't really try the wrestling in the fight. So yeah, and Usman like is still an unknown, like how was he is. So yeah, like the main reason why I make this fight instead of any other fight in the welterweight division is because like, oh, these guys like both of them want a shot. So like, oh, just let them fight each other. Like let Morales or Gary, like I think Morales or Gary should fight Islam, and the other guy should just wait it out and JJ versus Prates. Like that's the like main headspace. So yeah, like the main reason I put this on this card, like I think this fight made this card like overly stacked because like, oh, this basically a number one contender fight, and like spoiler alert, the next fight will also be a number one contender. Like I made this fight because I welterweight is the prime division, and I want welterweight to be represented on this like our big card. So yeah, that's why I make this fight on this card instead of like any other card. So yeah. Next up, we have Paddy Pimblott versus Justin Gaethje. Like Justin Gaethje, he's like begging to Dana. He's like on his knees. He's like, Dana, tomato man, please give me a shot. And Dana said, no, the best we can do is give you a random British man. So yeah, Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Like Paddy Pimblett, like he's like overrated as hell. Like, oh, he like when he beat against Michael Chandler, I thought, oh, he only win against Michael Chandler, but everybody's saying like, even hardcores, they said, oh yeah, Paddy Pimblett, he's going to beat top 2 though. So like, no, he's not. Like Justin Gaethje, like yeah, he's really fun and stuff. At the same time, he has like very bad wrestling. Like people say, oh, Paddy Pimblett, he can like show off his wrestling and dominate Justin Gaethje, but at the same time, like Pimblett, he doesn't really have good takedowns. Like he's like, oh yeah, he's a monster on the ground, but he doesn't have really good takedown game. Like the thing with Gaethje, like, yeah, he also, like, he sucks at the ground, but he has, like, decent takedown defense. So, like, yeah, I think Gaethje will clearly win this fight by, like, KO or something. Like, Pimlet, let's not forget his, like, atrocious, like, defense. Yeah. Okay, next up, we have the co-main event, which is a title fight. So, the co-main event is Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Yeah, I know this, like, oh, it's going to be a big fight. Yeah, like, it's weird to see Aspinall, like, co-main, to be a co-main event, but, like, nobody wants, like, the UFC doesn't want to promote this fight. Like, it's better to just put this on, like, a random co-main event, like, in a big card, and I think it's going to be real good. Like, as we know, like, yeah, of course, I put all, like, these British fighters on this card, and, like, which like, oh, implies that Aspinall should be the main event, but at the same time, like, when you look at the main event, the actual main event, you're like, oh yeah, of course it's a main event. Like, I put Aspinall here, like, yeah, because the thing is, like, oh, it's just going to be, like, a round one knockout, which, like, I don't want to see that in a main event. Like, I want to see, like, an actual, like, at least, like, 3 rounds, 2 rounds, or something like that. So yeah, or maybe the main event will be, like, 1 round. For example, like this, Ilya Topturov versus Arman Sakarian. So, like, yeah, Sakarian, like, this like the Aljo treatment, where Dana forced Aljo to fight a few months later against, like, Sean O'Malley. Like, Topturov, like, refuses to fight. Yeah, I understand your wife he love you, but, like, come on, just, like, fight, please. And I think it's, like, the best case scenario for him, like, to fight Armin. Like, he fights Armin, like, a few months later, and, like, not on particularly, like, not in, like, like, yeah, there's, like, 2 months, but that's not enough time for, like, a full training camp, you know. And Topturov, he's, like, still very fresh. So yeah, like, I know, like, maybe this couldn't happen because Topturov is, like, very picky or something, but, like, I hopefully this fight happens at a main event, because, like, this is a big Paramount deal. So yeah. Okay, update. It is rumored that Kayla Henderson versus Nunes will be in the main event, which, like, come on, man, like, that's a big fight, but, like, seriously, this is, like, the big Paramount card, and, like, yeah, I know this is, like, a big fight. Like, if this, like, headline another people, I'll be fine, but, like, this is the Paramount card. So yeah, hopefully, like, they get up to the baby, like, they can convince him or something. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Yeah, okay, goodbye.